Shalom Aleichem. Mishnah Yomi is in the 8th and final Mishnah of chapter 3 of Gittin, and then we'll be starting chapter 4 in just a few moments. Hamaniach Pairot, someone leaves over a pile of produce, Liot Mafrish Alehen, to separate using this pile, Truma or Maisrot, Truma and Meiser from another place. So this is similar to the arrangement we saw yesterday, where he advanced money to a Kohen, a Levi, or Ani, and we assume they're still alive, so he can continue separating those tithes to pay back that cash advance. And here the Mishnah adds the related case, of course, ma'ot, or he's got money, silver coins, liot mafrish alehen meiser sheni, to redeem meiser sheni produce. Now, as a quick review, in years 1, 2, 4, and 5 of the Shvius sabbatical 7-year cycle, we separate Meiser Sheni, which you continue to own, but you can only eat in Yerushalayim. Now, if you've got a lot of produce, a lot of watermelons, you can redeem them onto silver coinage. You can redeem it onto money, bring the money to Yerushalayim, use it to buy carbanotes and any sort of food and drink inside Yerushalayim must be consumed within Yerushalayim. It has the Kedusha, the sanctity of Meiser Sheni. And again, years 3 and 6 of the Shemitah cycle is Meiser Ani, is the tithe goes to the poor people, as you mentioned yesterday. They might need a cash advance. And on the 7th year is Shvi'it, and you're not harvesting your own grain. The land is hefker and is not worked officially for agricultural reasons. Anyway, back in our Mishnah right here, Mafrish Alehen, he can continue separating the tithes and redeeming the Meiser, under the assumption, the chazaka, that this pile of produce or this wallet of money is still as it was. Now, what if he goes in his drawer and finds that wallet's missing, or goes out to the granary and finds that pile was blown away? So, im avdu, if they are lost, these items he's relying on to separate his tithes, his maisrot, hareze choshesh, he has to be worried me'et le'et, for the previous 24 hours. 8 is like the time, me'et le'et, means from this time and going back 24 hours. Divrei Rabbi Elazar ben Shemua. Rabbi Elazar ben Shemua, and Rabbi Bartner explains, before that time you could rely on the chazaka, but because it's missing now, well, it's not that it went missing like 5 minutes ago. Maybe it went missing or got lost or spoiled, within the last 24 hours. Now, the Mishnah adds a detail. If you have a vat of wine or a barrel of wine that you're using to take truma or meiser on other wine. Now, wine often, sometimes, God forbid, lo aleinu, it can turn into vinegar. And particularly back then, when there was less refrigeration, things were not necessarily free of contamination and spoilage and proper sealing, so they could turn into vinegar. So Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'shlosha prakim, at 3 times of the year, bodkin et hayayin. You need to go and check your stockpile of wine and make sure it's still wine and not vinegar. B'kadim shel motzei hachag, the first time the east wind blows after the chag. Chag is Sukkot. Ubehotzat smadar, the time when the budding grapes emerge. Smadar is the grape buds. Ubishot knisat mayim baboser, and when the liquid is entering into the grapes, the little baby grapes, they start filling up with grape juice. Now, they had a mesorah, an understanding based on the physical or spiritual reality of the world, that at these 3 times of the year, there was a heightened danger that wine would turn into vinegar based on, the changing of the seasons, the changing of the climates. So that's the times you really need to check, and you can't rely on the chazaka in respect to your barrel of wine that's been set aside to separate tithes upon it. Now on to chapter 4. A sholeach get leishto. Ruvain has sent a get with a messenger to deliver to his wife. Higia b'shliach. Ruvain happens to bump into the shliach at the supermarket before the get is given. O shesholach acharav shliach, or he sends a second messenger to go recall the first messenger. Amar lo, and Ruvain tells him, or the second messenger tells him, get shenatati loch batal hu. This get that I gave you to deliver, it is batal. It is null and void. Hare ze batal. Behold, it is legally voided. Now, another option he has, the Mishnah goes on, is kodom etzel ishto, or he runs and gets to his wife first, o sheshalach etzlo shaliach, or he sends a messenger directly to his wife, not to go track down the first messenger. The Amar Law, and he says, or his messenger says, get sheshalachti lich batalhu, The get that I already sent to you and it's on the way here, it is null and void. Hare ze batal. This informational statement works to be nullifying this get. But if the get has already been delivered into her hand, shuv eno yachol levatlo. The husband has no power whatsoever to recall the shlichut, the agency of the messenger, or to nullify the get. Shkoyach, we should all be zoche to wine that does not spoil. Tiskulu mitzvot.